Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to look at parallel compression within Logic Pro, how to set it up and what it's used for. Okay, let's go. So for this tutorial on parallel compression, I've got a Logic project which has a number of instruments, and primarily we're going to parallel compress the drums. You can parallel compress other things such as backing vocals or possibly a lead vocal if you wanted to, but it's generally used on things like live drums. So for this example, I've just got a track in Logic which features just your standard bass drums, snare drums, hi-hats, toms and overheads, and just an ambient mic as well. So let's have a listen to that. And if we just have a listen to that on solo as well. Cool, so that's what we're going to be parallel compressing. Now, parallel compression is basically sending the source material, so these drum tracks, to an external or a bus or an auxiliary channel, and then heavily compressing them to compress in parallel. So that's what we're going to do. And now the first thing in Logic, what we need to do that is to send these channels to an auxiliary track. So if we go onto the bus, and we can send it to, let's just use bus 10, just so it's a bit further away. We might want some other effects on before then. And then we can hold down the Alt key to bring those sends to 0. Now, if we click on this bus here, you can see it brings it up. There seems to be a graphic equalizer on that. Let's just remove that. But as you can see, the auxiliary channel has come up next to the drums that we're going to be sending. So this is bus 10. So we can name that as, let's say, drum parallel comp. And what we want to do is we just want to have a listen to that and make sure everything's coming through to it. Okay, cool. So now what we can do is we can assign a compressor to this channel. So the dynamics, compressor. And for this example, I think, let's have a look. Maybe we should go for a classic compression, which is, maybe not. Vintage. Cool, so this is kind of a similar replica to an SSL, which is pretty awesome for drums. So we'll stick with this. Again, let's have a listen on solo. And we can push the threshold of this up quite substantially because we're going to be blending this in, so it's not going to affect our original channels. That's good. Give it a lot of ratio, maybe take the attack. Okay, cool, so that's quite heavily compressed, but because we're blending it in, be careful not to peak your meters. Cool, obviously this can be adjusted throughout the track in order to blend as much or as little as you want. So what we can do is we can just have a listen to that in context with the other drums. So as you can hear, that's actually adding a lot to these drums. It's beefing it up, just adding more atmosphere and a bit more punch from that added compression. Now, depending on your taste, you can add or subtract as much of this as you want. But that is the basics of parallel compression, is to get a heavily compressed auxiliary track of your source material and then just blend it in. So we can have a listen to that within the track and blend in as much as we want. With and then without. Might have to bring the overall drums down a bit. You can hear how it really fills out the sound of these drums now. That's our parallel compressed track. So there you go. One more tip that I would say or would suggest is to add this track to the end of your drum tracks. So if we go and create a new track within Logic, you can use the New Tracks tab under Track, or Command Alt N. There we go, and we'll bring up a new audio track. That's great. And now we can reassign this track as our auxiliary track. Which auxiliary was it? Oh, it was bus, wasn't it? Bus number 10. There we go, perfect. So just for ease of use, so we've got that next to our drum tracks. Cool. Well, I hope you liked this video on parallel compression. Please check out some other videos on my channel. And yeah, until next time.